Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You always look confused when I address you. It's at some point we'll get this ironed out. But welcome to episode 13 of The Well. I'm Drew.
And I'm Kat.
And today we're going to be talking about something that Kathryn and I chuckle about, get irritated about, and just chat about an awful lot. We have a ritual at night. We usually settle in to Kathryn's favorite place in the world, which is the bed. And we have a bit of a debrief. We start the day with, hey, our little stand-up, right? We talk about the task at hand, and then we wrap up the day with our little bit of I don't think it's a retro, but just kind of a debrief of what transpired in the day. Yeah. So today, we're going to be talking about, it's a new year. It's the same us.
It is,
yet
2026.
We're way less patient. Way less patient. Yeah. Would you agree or disagree with that statement?
I would agree. I feel like we're patient with certain things and not others. So I think we are patient. It depends on what it is.
Yeah, so we'll double click into that because you are correct. We do have, you have a lot more patience than I do. I'm not a patient man, but you definitely have a lot more patience. But there are certain things that both of us struggle with, and it continues to feel worse. For example, do we want to jump into the examples, or do I want to ask you a question first?
Not yet. We got to talk about.
Okay.
We should talk about the lead up to New Year's. So every year there's a lead up to New Year's, at least for me. I'm already thinking about, what are my top 3 goals for the new year? What do you think about?
I'm not a New Year's resolution guy. I set up myself for failure enough. I don't need another data point to fail at. To me, we should be making resolutions every day. Like we should set forth to do something new every day.
But I also do appreciate that there is a specific time to do that every year, because some people won't. Some people won't do that. You might make resolutions every day, but a lot of people value the once a year thing. Which I do, because I always feel like, what am I going to accomplish this year? It's another reason to make a list.
Yeah, see, you're just special
for
like that.
The list people.
Yeah, I don't need another list to lay on my desk that I'll write out and never look at again, ever.
See, and I look at all my lists, but that's not the point. I love New Year's not because I go out, because I hardly ever go out for New Year's, hardly ever in my entire life. But I love doing like New Year's type things, like wearing the little New Year's thing on your head and the sound of the little, what are those things called? The things you put in your mouth and you party blowers.
Party favor? I actually don't know.
I know there's a name for it.
Oh, now you're gonna make me look it up.
I love the lead up. I love the lead up to New Year's because I always give myself, I think I've always done this. I've always said, okay, what am I going to accomplish this next year? And I give myself 3 top goals and I put it in my notes app on my phone and I look through it throughout the year. I'm that person that does look back at it.
Yeah, I'm not that person. And they are party blowers. Wow, what a creative name. I actually never thought they had a name, or I never thought about a name for them. That's kind of wild.
Now you know.
Now we know. Yeah. New Year's is a weird holiday. I feel it almost feels forced sometimes that you have to do something.
Don't you feel like that with Valentine's Day?
Well, I'm not a huge fan of Hallmark holidays to begin with. I feel like if you have
This is blasphemy. Stop it.
Wait a minute. Hear me out. I don't think I need to acknowledge. I'd rather acknowledge you 365 days a year as opposed to one day a year to feel forced. And to me, it's just, and this is anyway, I feel like it's just a way to get you to spend money, right? Dinner's more expensive. Cards are more expensive. I mean, honestly, you go into the card store now or you go into the supermarket, you're spending like $5-6 on a card. Wow, I sound old. I remember back in the day, cards
it was
were
99
cents. But it really does feel outrageously expensive.
Okay, I'm going off on a tangent here. So with Christmas this year, we decided we weren't going to buy a lot of gifts. And now I'm the type of person, I will go out and I'm like, because my parents did that. They were like, we got to make sure we have enough gifts for everybody, and they were always really concerned. They want everybody to have a good time. wonder where I got that from. So I would do the same thing. But after years and years and years of buying, I cannot tell you how liberating it was this year not to go out and buy a ton of, I shouldn't say crap, but stuff that literally we don't need, that is just junk. You know, I mean, certain things aren't, but, you know, the little novelty things, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to just hang on to my money instead. And it was very freeing. And I know a lot of people, like friends of mine, who are like, gosh, I feel like I have to start Christmas earlier and earlier, you know, so that I can keep up with everything. And that's horrible. I have to say, like, for us to feel that way. Christmas should be about family and friends and kindness and, you know, joy and, you know, having these wonderful experiences. And at least in my opinion. And
that doesn't make money.
I know, but it did. I was reflecting a lot this year on like, wow, you know, we really feel pushed by society and stores and the ads to buy is so overwhelming. So I felt extremely liberated this year not doing that and like totally tuning it out. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was liberating, to say the least. It was liberating
mentally
and yeah,
and for my wallet.
You know, yes, truth be told, you know, you and I have had an incredibly difficult 2025, so it's definitely, it was nice not to be shackled to, did I buy enough? Did I get enough? Is everyone going to be happy? So
it
focusing
turned out
on
to be okay.
the fundamentals. Yeah, it was a great Christmas. I mean, we had a nice holiday, and New Year's was quiet.
I had a great holiday. My ring, if no one can see it, if you're just listening, I got a gorgeous engagement ring, by the way, from the man that I love.
Anyway,
he picked out
we need to talk about that.
Okay, so that was my big gift. Yes, we should talk about it.
Yeah, we just talking about not spending money, and you're like, look. Yeah, anyway.
Well, we didn't buy a lot of like little stuff.
We didn't really buy much of anything. No, like you said, it was great. It was liberating. It was liberating. But speaking of going out and buying stuff, well, hold on. So back to New Year's.
Yes.
We never really do all that much. I mean, I used to go out and party and do the whole thing, or even going out to dinner, you're just spending so much more money to eat on New Year's. And I get it, it's a holiday, but
I think it's
I
fun
used to have to work. Yeah, I used to have to work every New Year's. So I understand both sides. I did because I liked the extra cash in my pocket, and I didn't care about New Year's all that much. It wasn't that big of a deal to me to miss, right? Like, what am I missing? It's just another night.
Growing my parents, we had this tradition. We did the same thing every New Year's. And I think I probably went out with friends, you know, maybe one or two New Year's, like when I was a teenager, but I didn't really care that much to go out. But anyway, so my parents used to, even to this day, they still do the same thing. My dad loves cookies. He will go buy cookies. They're usually the like Pepperidge Farm cookies or
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
That's right. Or Dance cookies, the shortbread, or the Linzer cookies, you know, and then they get the sparkling cider, like the non-alcoholic. And that's the special New Year's, and they do that every year. And so I grew up like that. And so you kind of started to expect that. And then when I became a mom, that's what I would do. It's so funny how the traditions kind of carry over. So I would get cookies and and I don't even like sparkling cider, like the Welch's grape sparkling cider and whatever. And we would do that until I got older and I started doing different traditions. So like one year what did we do? The time capsule. Do you remember that? And Travis found his like a year or two later, and he pulled out what he wrote in there, and it made him cry. And it was so sweet. Do you remember that?
I do, but he pulled it out a little too quick. He should have left it buried.
I'm sure he still has it somewhere. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. And we did one year, New Year's games. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you did a good job with that. And then the other year we did Cards Against Humanity, which if you've ever played, you need to have a level of comfort around children when you play that game, because It's
Well, they were teenagers.
still,
Sorry.
it was uncomfortable for me. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's a little offensive. But you know what? Everybody was okay. Everybody, we had a
That's
good
true.
time. It's not like we do it all the time. So, everybody was a good sport. Yeah, so we come up with some different things. And then the past couple of years, we've been watching Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen, right? The New Year's Eve show
on CNN.
Which I never watched that before you and I got together. And
Well, I used to
didn't
watch
even know
it
that was
back
out there.
Yeah, when Kathy Griffin was on. It's a shit show, and it's just entertaining because of how much of a shit show it is. So there's only so
It's
much Ryan
crazy.
Seacrest I can take, and there's only so much Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper I can take. But it's funny to watch Anderson Cooper drink, get a little tipsy, and then that awful laugh that he has. I mean, it's just off-putting. It's terrible.
Poor
But
man.
it is.
But
There
it's
is
fun.
a level of entertainment, yes. But we don't. I mean, I think the days of raging and going out and getting, absolutely annihilated and not remembering any have sailed away. So don't quite recover like we used to. So.
Although I'm pretty good to stay up past 12 o'clock on New Year's. What's that look? I stayed up till midnight. I might have dozed off.
You took a little nap around 10:30.
And then you took pictures of me.
I did. I took a video, took pictures. I'll put them on the screen.
And I woke up while you were doing it, and I was like, stop doing that. Hey, we have to talk about...
Stop it, Travis.
No, I did not. Did I really?
You did. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because that's what Travis
that's because you were acting like Travis. Okay.
I know.
So we got to talk about I have to give context to this. So I've always tried to plan like family outings, places, like over the holidays. Like we went to Haywire for dinner. What? Okay. Yes, I am. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Like I get anxiety now.
Yeah, and I kind of get why the older we get. I don't get. Why is it the older we get, the crankier we get, the less patient, less tolerant, less polite? I mean, we'll get into some stories, but that's more. That's the kind of the context for the story you're about to tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'll never forget a friend of mine in her had mentioned something about how she just didn't have patience. This was like a couple years ago. And she's like, I have a boiling point now. She's like, I can't take any BS. And, I kind of was like, oh, I kind of understand that, but I didn't really, like I feel like this past year especially has really changed me. And I don't know if it's age or if it's the world or maybe it's all of it at the same time, but I do have less patience for certain things. And I notice how I approach things differently when I talk to people or if I'm engaging in any kind of conflict. I just want to like get stuff done and not be bothered. That sounds so bad. Okay, but anyway, you know what?
Does that sound bad?
I hope it doesn't. Like, I'm happy to be, like, people can bother me, like, I don't want people to think that I'm not unbotherable. New word.
Unbotherable.
So, unbotherable. So anyway, this past year, I've had a lot less patience. And I think, everybody could probably agree, driving in public, especially in Dallas, it requires a lot of patience, or the flip side, you end up a nervous wreck by the time that you arrive somewhere because you're so aggravated. Bless my mom. She's so good she's like, you just have to drive slower and be patient. And I'm like, you're the slow person on the road, aren't you? No, I'm kidding. She is way more patient than I am. And so anyway, back to these New Year's, like Christmas holiday things. Like I usually plan an outing. We'll go to dinner somewhere festive or, whatever it might be. So I always try to plan something. So I was like, okay, we didn't really do a whole lot over the Christmas holiday. So let's going out. So let's go down to an area of town where they have like fun festive stuff and we can walk around. And So we had planned to go. Was it New Year's Day that we went, or New Year's Eve?
No, it
It
was
was
New
New
Year's
Year's
Eve. It
Eve
was the
day.
morning.
It was the morning of New Year's Eve. And so we get up early, all four of us, and we drive down to this area of town. And we get there, we park, and we get out, and pretty much everything is not open yet. I mean, you never know post-COVID, like what hours are. So I highly recommend that you check, like you call or you check their website. I knew that they weren't going to open, right when we got there, a lot of places. So we started walking around and we get accosted all like right out the gate. We get accosted by someone panhandling for money, and nothing against people that do that, but it's really early in the morning, and so we get accosted. So then we're like walking, and we're trying to I'm trying to make it a fun time, and everybody's a little bit tired, and so I'm like, okay, let's go get some coffee. Okay, so let's.
Wait.
Oh yes, did I miss
For
something?
context, it was not super early in the morning. I mean,
It was like
it was
10.
10 o'clock.
It was after 10 o'clock. Okay,
everyone had enough
Yeah,
time
true.
to wake up.
Yeah. So it was just and the weird thing is, I knew when I first woke up that morning that it probably was a bad idea to go out that day. I don't know why I get this like gut. I call it my God gut. I get this gut feeling sometimes about things, and it was not wrong. So we go into this cafe in the area.
Bakery.
And it's a bakery, and it's really cute, and they have like the display counter, and they've got all this cool stuff. And it's not super busy, but they looked a little busy. So we're standing in front of the display case of the treats, the pastries. And there's a couple in front of us. And so I asked them, I said, "Oh, are you all in line?" Because it was very difficult to figure out where the line started, because people were just kind of standing around. No one was talking. No one was kind of looking up, giving direction, not even the staff. So, I'm not afraid to ask. So I was like, okay, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're in line." And I said, okay, well, it's kind of hard to figure out where the line is. And they're like, "Yeah, I think, if you're getting drinks over here, that's that line. And this is the line if you're getting," I don't think they really knew. So,
but it was a super small place. I mean, we're
it
not
was
talking
tight in there.
like really small.
Yes. So we're standing there. And people are coming in, and people are coming in. And then, like, you said, "Hey, those people just like got in front of all of us."
Well, what happened was this couple came in, and they literally were standing right in the crowd where we were standing. They looked at the pastries. They had this not big, but this area where they had all their croissants and other baked goods. So they looked at that, and then they walked around everybody and just popped up at the register and ordered.
Yeah.
So not only did we feel stupid, like, oh, wait a minute, but then I was like, well, they literally just jumped the line. I don't know. I hate that. It drives me nuts. So
yeah, it drives me nuts too.
By watching them stand there, and this is before you got involved, I wasn't being rude. I just said, "Hey, there was a line. Just letting you know there was a line." And you all just jumped in front of the 5 other people that have been waiting here.
You didn't say that part, though. You didn't say you jumped in front of line. Yeah. You were just like, hey, there's a line. And I whipped around because I was focused on, like, I was talking to the kids, and I was like, what happened? And you were like, those people got in front of us. Now, to be fair, they may have been confused as we were coming in that there was a real line. But at the same time, they didn't acknowledge it at all. When you said that, they just kind of stared at us, and they kind of got this smirk on their face. And I was just like, they were like, "Wow, here's someone making a big deal."
Shut up, old man.
Yeah, like that's how I read their facial expressions. But I immediately said, because I am not afraid to say stuff, and I was not rude, but I said, "Hey," I said, "there is a line. These people, we've been standing here for a while, and these people in front of us were first." And I get my mom attitude going. So they didn't apologize, didn't say a word. But I will say the lady behind the counter, she was very nice and was like, "Oh, I'll get you all next." Da, da, da. But I'm just always amazed why people don't say anything. Why they don't. When I first came in, I asked the people, I said, "Oh, are you all in line?" It's the courteous thing to do, right? Don't just assume. So it makes you think, and maybe I'm wrong, but there's two different thoughts that I have in that moment. It's like, well, maybe they didn't know and you want to give people the benefit of the doubt. But there are so many people that take advantage of that. And so then on the flip side, the other side of the coin, you're like, they did it on purpose. They knew people were waiting, but they didn't want to wait in line. It's like people in traffic that are trying to get off an exit, right? And there's a long line and they zip over and cut in front of you. Like, those are the people that cut in front of you at the bakery. Legit.
Or when you let the person out of the parking lot, right, and they don't give you the thank you. Like, I just let you out. Like a little hand wave, like, yo, thanks.
Not
Appreciate
that you do it to expect something, but now that's the norm. No one says thank you. No one says please, and maybe I'm old and crusty. Maybe, maybe it's just me. I'm not saying everybody's like that. There are a lot of nice people out there, lots of nice people.
Yeah. Listen, we all have good days and bad days. So we also take that with a grain of salt. No one's batting 100%, but
no.
So it was
bizarre.
But the tone of the morning kind of leading up to that, then that event happened. And you were just like, okay, this isn't going to be an enjoyable experience. So maybe we just wrap it up.
Yeah.
So we get our pastries, right? Of course, you got to eat something.
And they looked really great.
Yeah, they did.
But I have to say, because you get to a certain age and you've had a lot of experiences and you've had this is how older people become pessimistic, because I'm like, these look so good. But in my mind, I'm like, these are going to be so bad. And we drove all this way. We paid all this money for these. And I'm going to get them home and they're going to taste like poo. And I was like, no, you want to try to stay positive. So I'm having all this conversation in my head. I am not saying this out loud.
No,
go ahead.
I can attest for that. You were not saying that out loud, but we've had enough of those experiences where we were talking about this, I think, in our last episode of things not living up to their expectations. Although we had no expectations of this place. So the other places that didn't live up to their expectations, this place got judged for other sins. But
right, yeah.
But it was good. I mean, it wasn't the food wasn't bad. The croissants were good.
Oh,
the cinnamon roll was good.
You're not supposed to talk about the food yet. We didn't cover the rest of the experience.
So pardon moi.
Pardon moi. Okay, so we're like, hey, you know what? Kind of had enough of the public. Let's go home. Okay. And it was kind of cold.
I was getting there.
But you were talking about the pastries. But you can't talk because that was the ending to the story. And it was a good ending.
Fine. Always have to get your way.
Always. Okay. So we leave the bakery. The panhandler's still panhandling. We walk out. We take our stuff. We get to the car. No. So we walk to the car. We're not parked far away. We start walking up to the car, and we're
wait. Now we parked, and there was a ton of parking, which is rare, but there were a ton.
It was early.
There was like 4 spots to the right and 4 spots to the left, and these parking spots were on a slant, like on a bias,
like
so
diagonal,
you pulled in on a slant, diagonal. So there was plenty of parking either side. Continue.
Yes, correct. And
should have taken a picture of this.
I really should have. It was really just, I had no words. So we walk up to the car, and I've noticed someone has parked next to our car. And as I'm walking closer to the car, because I drove that morning, so I was going to the driver's side, this person had backed into the parking spot next to our car. And there was a car on the other side of them. So
it was the only 2 cars in the parking lot, was ours and this other car, and there was a space between it, and this person chose to park in the middle, like literally chose the one spot. Yes. And
there were so many other parking spots, literally wedged the car. I'm not joking when I say there was probably like 3 inches, if that, of door space, like space to open the door. And I'm already like my mind's back in the bakery still with everything that happened. And then, and we're giving you the summary. We're not giving you all the details. So I walk up and I notice that there's this guy standing by the car on the sidewalk. And I look up and I'm like, is this your car? And he looks at me.
Wait, he had the look.
He knew.
There's a great internet meme, right? Like the moment you know you screwed up, that was the face he had. The moment he knew that this was a mistake, that was the face he had. He was dead to rights.
I was appalled. I was like,
I know this sounds so trivial, but in the moment, it felt a certain way.
When these things happen to you on a regular basis, you get real tired.
Yeah, but it was so close to both cars. It was like, wedged in there.
Yes.
Like literally, you almost had to go to the passenger side to get into our car. And he looks at Kathryn. Sorry, I'm jumping in.
No, go ahead.
He looks at Kathryn and goes, well, you can just hit the car. I
have to say, he was young guy, and he was not rude. Like he was a nice guy, and he kind of like nervous laughter. I didn't think this one through. Nervous laughter. He was like, well, he's like, you can totally hit my car. It's totally fine. It's like, I wouldn't care. And I was like, so you knew that you parked in a spot that was a bad idea, and yet you did it anyway, and now you're trying to justify it. Like I had no words. I was so done with that morning. And
but that response, though, you can hit my car. When I heard him say that, I was like,
you and I thought different things.
Yeah, I was like, well, why would I want to screw up my car? And I don't want to hit your car.
So this is the difference between you and I, because I was like, I told him, I said, I'm not going to hit your car, because I was thinking about his car. I was being nice.
He cares less. He could care less about his car. I'm worried about our car.
So I just kind of mumbled something. I was in such shock. And I was able to like shimmy myself into the door. Like, you open it. I'm sure everybody's had this experience. You open it like a little crack and you're like scooting your little butt in there, trying to get it. And I got in the car and I was just like, okay, we're leaving. And these pastries better be freaking good. And we got home and they were actually really, really good. They were excellent. So but I was like, that was the happy ending.
Yeah. And it doesn't sound all that, bad, egregious, but it's frustrating. So I love food shopping. I love going to the market. I always go food shopping. That's kind of and I don't mind. I don't come. What drives me nuts, and it's getting worse, and I find myself in the red zone way too often, where literally I'm afraid to go out in public. I don't even know how you it's the clogging of the aisle. Hey, I'm going to park my cart right in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to have someone stand on either side, and then I'm going to stare at you as you're trying to move past. Because I'm not rude. I'm like, excuse me, can you mind if I can? And
you're like, excuse me.
People is like so aggravated that I'm asking them to move. Or the people at Sam's Club or Costco that literally just have no bearing of their surrounding. I can't tell you how many times I've been hit. I feel like I need insurance when I go to Sam's Club.
There's a video, there's a meme about this specific thing. It's hilarious. I don't know if you haven't seen it, you should find it.
And I need to know from the audience. There's something I've seen more so in Texas than any other state. And maybe it's just because, you know how when you see a color car or a certain car, you start to see them more. Mm-hmm, maybe it's just because I see it more. I don't understand something. Why do people back into a parking spot at the supermarket? You want access to your trunk. It doesn't make any sense to me. Kathryn knows this, not a lot. I have the parking situation. I park far away in the parking lot.
Indeed, you do.
I do not want any nonsense around my car. I don't want to be dinged. I don't want no one has any respect for the carts. I mean, honestly, the cart return could be 2 parking spots over and people are leaving it right in this. I'm just amazed by the lack of manners. I mean, I know there's people that retrieve the carts, but at least put it in the cart return. I mean, whatever.
So I know people that probably do.
Getting aggravated backwards. Just talking about it.
I know you are, but I don't.
I don't understand the parking backwards. But you need access to. It's illogical to me. If you're getting into the trunk, why would you make it harder? You're literally making it more difficult.
I'd probably be that person.
Yeah, but then I'm worried about you pushing the cart behind the car. Now the
That's
cart
because you
is
have a fancy
between your.
car, dear, and I
No,
don't. And I don't care
I
about
don't
my
care if I'm
car.
driving a hoopty, right? Like I take care of my stuff, and I don't want
That's true. You
people
do.
dinging
You
it
do.
up.
Yeah.
So it's important to me.
And it
Which
is kind of funny when people are like, well, it's not that big of a deal. Well, if it was your car, it would be a big deal, you know?
I don't. It's kind of like when people tell you to calm down. It's not that
Oh, yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not.
no, you don't.
Only when it
Don't sit
happens to
there.
you is it
Yeah, right.
serious. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Like I
interesting.
can imagine. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was thinking in my head everything that we just talked about. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a list of all the things that could have been offensive to people, like panhandler. Okay, I don't mind, panhandlers. Okay. That wasn't the point.
Such an old person word, panhandler.
Panhandler. And then, like if people think, oh, well, it's not a big deal. You just figure out where the line is. When you're around people all the time that don't know how to communicate, it gets old. Not that I have to state my case. That's just how I feel. It's a personal thing, like I would love to understand from people, what the logic is around that or the logic around parking between two cars where you can't even open your door. Like, why?
So what triggers you in the public the most?
Great question. I have to say it's the not having, okay, I can't figure it out. It's like not paying attention. It's either they're not self-aware of their surroundings or they're intentionally not paying attention because they just don't care. I don't know which one it is, but I see it on the road, people driving. Like today, especially like coming back from the airport, this big semi truck just decided to come over in my lane and we pass him and obviously I go around him. He's on his phone. And I'm like, that kind of stuff drives me nuts. But I feel like that happens all the time, even if you're like in the grocery store or you're at a restaurant or, I mean, it could be anywhere, but it drives me nuts. I'm like, one of the worst things is when Becca and I were in Europe and you try to walk down the street, like all these like historical streets and it's packed and people like look through you. Like they don't even see you. They're like a bulldozer and you've really got to like jump out of the way, but there's like no courtesy. It's not like, hey, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, we are the South people. We should be having the most courtesy. And yeah, you just don't see it. People are just, it feels like people are entitled or I have also thought this, people are afraid to say anything to anybody because you could get shot. Seriously. I mean, you can't say anything to anyone anymore without like some insanity happening. So I feel like there are a lot of factors to it, but I don't know. I'm curious if other people experience this.
Yeah. What about one thing I never understood, and I would love for someone to chime in with logic on this one. Why, when we're out in public, now I don't do this. Why do people talk on their speakerphone? Like walking around with their phone like this, with the speaker, like for everyone to hear.
With other people around? I don't know.
Yeah, like walking through the supermarket or.
Has that ever happened to you in the airport?
Well, you know me, I've been on planes plenty, and yes. Or what always blew me away was people would watch a movie with no headphones.
Oh, that's happened to me on the plane before. And I'm like, what is happening? And I get overstimulated, like my brain does. So lots of noises sometimes really bother me. That's really the reason. But yeah, it's really crazy. Yeah, I really think sometimes I wonder, I'm like, is there a decline in common courtesy in our society? Or is it me?
Yeah.
Like I really can't figure it out.
Like the supermarkets. Yeah, the supermarket's one of my big triggers besides the road. But yeah, I try not to be on my phone. I know I have many, but
those are the big ones I would say too.
Yeah, I just don't like being on, like when I go food shopping, I just want to go do my thing. I don't really need to talk to anybody or chit chat. I don't know. I'm not a phone talker, so maybe that's the other thing. I don't really like.
You usually shop with your AirPods in.
Oh, I'm always listening.
Do you still do that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
always.
Yeah.
Any store I go in when I'm alone, I always have my AirPods in. So that way I can claim, I didn't hear what you said. Something I didn't hear you. But I'm not. I guess, for example, the other day, where was I? Was it Sprouts?
I just thought of
where was I? Kroger. It was Kroger. And literally, I'm in the aisle, and this person's coming around the aisle, and they're literally, I don't know what they were doing, but there was plenty of room. It's not like I was running through the aisle, like literally hit me with the cart, like just completely smashed into me and just kept walking.
Yeah.
No acknowledgement of any. I was like, what is wrong with people? And it was funny because that's when we had more of this conversation. It's like, I just can't go out in public anymore. I just can't deal with the public. It's terrible. I dislike feeling this way,
other
but I
people
also
feel like
dislike,
we do?
Yeah, like
I want to know.
But it's gotten worse as we get older.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's because we're getting older or if it's because society's getting worse. It's a mystery.
We're just so much more self-aware. I don't know.
I don't know. There's another, we should have titled this like pet peeves. There's another one that really triggers me. Oh my gosh, this is one of the worst ones. My personal space. Okay, I have been to like Home Goods or I'm shopping somewhere and I get in line and some person will come up behind me in line and literally stand so close to me that they're breathing on my neck. I can't tell you how enraged I get because I'm like, dude, you need woman or person, you need to like step away. You are way too, I need to wear a shirt that says, if you can read this, you're too close. Like, it's bad. And that's happened to me so many times and I can't stand it. I feel like claustrophobic in general like that, but I'm like, why? Why would you do that? And I actually did say something to someone one time. I'm like they got so close to me that they were touching my hair. That's how close they were. And I whipped around and I was like, oh, excuse me. Like it was my fault, you know? And they were like, oh, I'm sorry. You know? And I was like, why are you not being aware that I'm like, you're literally touching my personal body? Oh my gosh, it's so bad. So I try to use the cart as a barrier.
Yeah, but it doesn't work from behind you.
I know.
Pause. But yes,
it drives me nuts. This is why I order everything online. Sometimes I just can't go in the store anymore.
But it's super hard to deal with. It's hard to have a boundary that no one respects.
Yeah. And I'm not like, I know we're pointing all this stuff out, but typically 98% of the time, it doesn't really bother me that much. But I have my moments where I'm like, hey, I'm like tired and this is not what I need right now. Or I'm not feeling good and this is not or you know what? I'm just tired of all of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, people just don't feel as helpful.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't tell you how many times I've been in the supermarket. Obviously, I'm very in tune with the supermarket because I'll go to like 3 different ones to get all the stuff we need. But amazing how unhelpful people are. I'll see people that can't reach something on the shelf. I always stop. Always. You need any help? No one does. It feels like
you're like you do that on the plane too. Like I'm always amazed that you
see people struggling to put their bag up.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, everyone's like their butt is glued to the seat at that point. No one wants to help.
It's really sad, actually. Yeah, and it's rare someone especially if you're pulling your bag out of the overhead. And I tell you what, I was like, when we went to Europe, and I know that was my most recent travel, but I got on a lot of planes for that trip. And it was amazing to see people struggling to get their baggage out of the overhead. And literally people are trying to run them over getting out of the plane and not even trying to help, you know? And I'm like, what is wrong with people? Like you're that selfish that you've got to, you're gonna like step on somebody to get off the plane, you know. Now, granted, you might have to go to the bathroom, and I understand that, but you know, it is kind of sad to see that.
The deboarding a plane, even just the airport in general, is always an interesting experience. I mean, I can't tell you how much stuff I've witnessed at the airport that just, it really discourages you for, you know, the lack of humanity that is exhibited. And the business travelers, because I was one of them, you know, on a plane every week, are some of the worst. Honestly, I've gotten into verbal confrontations. I was on a trip one time. I forgot, I was flying back to Dallas. And long story short, the flight was delayed. All the connecting flights, people had a real tight connection. And if you've ever flown into DFW, it's massive, right? If you're not leaving out, if you have a connection in a different terminal, you need time. So if you have a super tight connection, you're going to struggle to make it. You got to run like OJ through the airport, right? So I'm dating myself with the old Hertz commercials. But so people were like, what I never understood is why not all the flight attendants or whoever is the main flight attendant doesn't say or hold the people on the plane accountable to say, all right, let's deboard the people that have connecting flights first. Everyone stay in their seat, let those people up, get their bags to deplane.
It's rare that you hear that.
So there was one time where we were really delayed and this woman was holding up everyone from deboarding the plane. I should just say this person, her gender doesn't really matter in the situation, but she was screaming at everybody because she kept saying she needed to get off the plane first. Yet no reason. She just said, I need to get. And then she finally said, well, my kid is hungry. And there was probably 25 people waiting to get off the plane for connecting flights. She made such a scene, they had to call security. So those people missed their flights. Like, that's just, at the end of the, like, there's certain hills I understand people want to die on, but man, rudeness and just lack of just good human behavior, just good courteous behavior is wild. And especially in public transportation, flights, that kind of thing. When I was taking a train every day to the city, when I was working in Philadelphia and commuting back and forth from where I lived, I would take the train every morning. Or when I was working in DC, I would have to take the train. And just the trains, especially locals, were always overcrowded. And the amount of people that would make people stand. So you would have to stand. And it was probably an hour, 10 minutes. There was one particular case where there was this pregnant woman that got on the train and she was standing there. She had to have been 8 months pregnant, bursting. And no one offered her a seat. No one.
That's awful.
If I had a seat, I would have offered it, but I was standing too. But I even asked people at that point, hey, would you mind? But I also don't want to be the person that's causing a trouble, right? Like if they don't care, it's not my business, but it's just, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm really at a loss, and it's becoming more difficult. I keep saying as we get older, because I feel like I struggle with this a lot. Like I really struggle with the lack of kindness in the world anymore.
So I would say that, and I've thought about this a lot this past year, is being like going into this next year, being very selective about what I engage in, what I put myself through. If there is a way for me to control that, I think that's kind of normal when you get older. You start being a little more selective about, how you exert your energy, what you spend your time on. So my question was, what are you doing differently this year? Like, how are you approaching this year differently?
Gosh, I don't even know. I still think I'm in shell shock from 25. I really do. I have not been able to wash that. It's weird for me. The new year doesn't reset. I don't feel like it's a reset for me. So that's just my internal issues. But I mean, honestly, I'd like to focus on being more focused.
Yeah.
And more driven to, I don't know. It's no secret you and I are corporate citizens. We've been in corporate America for a long time, and I'd really like to be away from the toxic culture of corporate America. And I really want to figure something else out for 26 that doesn't force me to go back to something I really dislike doing. So,
yeah, I think I've told you this story. A friend of mine, someone that I know from my college days, she was a kind of a big deal in marketing back in the day, advertising world. And I had applied to do an internship at this place in Texas. It was a long time ago. And it was an awesome advertising agency. And I had imagined myself doing all these ads and everything. And, fast forward 20 plus years, and she had posted something on her LinkedIn about how those years drained her, and being in that corporate environment, and basically it's like sucks you dry, chews you up, and spits you out. And, it's hard to find a corporate culture that cares about people anymore. And I do really feel like corporations have gotten so much worse just in the past 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years. There is a huge decline, and we talked a little bit about this before. There's a lot less care about, or no care about employees. Everybody's out for themselves, and they will step on whoever they can to elevate themselves. And it's really hard to find good people in the corporate environment that are at a certain level and above. So yeah, I agree. I would love to stay away from corporate life and use my potential and my skill and my talent in a way that benefits people, that helps people, that uses my brain. And I agree, that's the direction that we're going in.
And I would like to see that ramp up in 26. I would like to see us be able to do more of what we're skilled at and less around what we're being forced to do. So I'd really like for our skill sets to be utilized. I do feel often like,
underutilized in these corporate environments.
Dead. I mean, that's the word that keeps coming to mind. It's just, it feels like a death march.
I've managed a lot of teams and a lot of people throughout my career, and I've always looked at the potential that people had and tried to nurture that. And I was always amazed that the company, most companies that I worked for, wouldn't recognize potential in people, wouldn't nurture it. And I find that such a missed opportunity. I had a guy that was great at animation, and I was like, wow, we could really incorporate this, and it's a strange culture. It really is.
But it feels indicative or a sign of the times. I feel like this has been building.
Yes.
And, we had this separation during COVID, and now this whole return to office push, yet they haven't really figured out what return to office the purpose is, or they're not transparent about it. Not that I want to make this a work podcast, but it does feel like the world, at least the world around us, there's an edge to it, and not cutting edge, right? There's a sharpness and a aggression and just lack of patience. As we're sitting here talking about lack of patience, but I don't lash out at people. But
no,
I've been lashed out at plenty. Right?
In a professional work environment. Yeah, no.
No, I'm saying just in general, like going out in the public, or, even just getting service, like customer service. How many times do you go out to eat and the staff looks absolutely miserable? Absolutely miserable. So, or we went to get ice cream one time, and literally we walk in, hey, how are you? No response. Great.
Yeah, that happened.
Okay. And then, so you ask for what you want. And you're like, well, thanks. I hope you have a good day. Didn't even make eye contact. There was nothing. And this person was audible. They could speak. It's not like they were mute or anything.
There wasn't anything. Yeah. So,
and there was no one else in there. It's just, there's no pleasantry.
No. And I would say this year, the world in general is very different. And I'm sure everybody can agree. Things are changing. And sometimes it's not a good thing, the way that they're changing. For me personally, I lack trust in corporations and the people that run them, because they have a bad track record. And so I don't want to work for a company like that. I am tired of working for companies that treat their employees like crap. And I've seen just in the past 2 years, so many good people that I've worked with, people that I know in other companies that have been let go or passed over, that were so well qualified and so smart and have been axed. And I don't like it. I know that sounds silly, but it's a horrible thing to do to people. And I just lack trust in any of these corporations. Not that I had a whole lot of trust before, but there used to be a focus on corporate culture and trying to build something good internally. And now, the past few years, there is none of that. There's no DEI. There's conferences and training. There is the bare bones minimum that's offered to employees anymore, but yet they expect you to do 2 or 3 jobs for a little amount of money and no title. Not saying all that's important, but you get my point.
I think it's more around employee retention, right? There's not a lot of emphasis on the employee retention and actually providing an environment where people want to stay.
And I don't even think companies are saying we care about our employees anymore. I think they just don't care. You're leaving, I'll replace you with someone else. Or we
or
won't,
they
and I'll give
won't.
your job to someone else.
Exactly. So I think
Yeah.
that's been something. I don't think that's new. I think it
No,
has gotten worse.
magnified.
So I agree with you, and I just it's hard, especially when you spent a good portion of your career trying to disrupt that, right?
Mhm.
Training leaders to lead differently.
Right.
I shouldn't say training, coaching people to show up differently. It's hard. It's hard to see this atrophy around, no more. There's no brand loyalty anymore. So
Right. And
it's
I
hard.
feel bad asking people to do that, to care, when no one cares. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to make it about work, but just
No,
going into the new year, the work culture has changed a lot. And, I would be curious to hear from people out there. Are you really happy in your job currently? And if so, I think that's a real blessing that you are. And, I think that's wonderful. And I hope that continues. I'd love to hear how it is a great place for you. And then for people that are struggling, what have you experienced? What's been bad for you? Performance reviews have always been a hot topic, how
it's not based
there
on
is no
performance. That's
review.
why.
Yeah. But I do think that we need an overhaul of the way that the corporate culture is currently. And it is broken and it needs to be fixed. I don't know what that looks like, but it's not pleasant right now for a lot of people.
No, no. It's interesting times we live in. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of innovation, a lot of change, a lot of disruption, and not a lot of understanding why. So
Yes. So
that's always difficult.
this year, I really want to focus on protecting my peace.
I like that. Protecting my peace.
Yes. And of course, as I said, I've got a few goals, but this year really is about making decisions that protect my peace of mind. And I mean, I feel like other people are probably very similar,
So
mental health, peace of mind.
So one of the calming methods that Kathryn has stumbled upon that has infected the entire house, as I learned, was it last night? Was it last night? Anyway,
Yep.
over the past night or two,
It was.
is listening to water
Yes.
on Spotify. Water.
I love it.
It doesn't sound anything like she's saying.
It does.
Literally,
And
it's like if you take the hose with the nozzle and spray a window, that's what it sounds like. It's like this.
I love the sound of water. Water fountains.
I like the sound of water, but I just have to pee every time you put that on. I just,
I love it. It's so good. It's a Spotify playlist. It's so good. I don't know. I randomly found it. And I was tired of listening to like music with words. And I was like, I need something instrumental, but I didn't want instruments. And I was like, water, nature. Yes. And we fell asleep this morning to it too. It was awesome.
I just had to fall asleep to it because literally it was, well, actually, I dozed off to it, and then it became about. I felt like I was in a restaurant because all of a sudden I hear
so
plates
bizarre.
clanking and like
it was
they're
really
filling
weird.
up. I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah, it really did sound like people were eating off plates in a restaurant, and
So,
it
yes.
woke both of us up. And I was like, "What
No,
is
thank
that?"
you. It's your bad calming water music that makes me have to go pee. So yes,
I'm looking for peacefulness.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. The
I'm
world
gonna
feels
give 'em-
noisy.
It
feels like
does
everyone
feel
is
noisy.
talking through a megaphone, like
Yeah.
literally a bullhorn.
Sometimes
like,
it's
oh my
hard to find a
gosh.
quiet spot in
There's
your
nowhere
mind.
quiet.
You
Or
know.
in the house, or on the street, anywhere. You can't even go drive anywhere.
I have to give this kind of analogy or example. So we went to Broken Bow in Oklahoma and we stayed there for like a weekend. This was it was last January, I think. And yeah, it was. And we got out there and it was dead silent and we were not used to that. And I was like, this is amazing.
It was like the best 2 days we've had in a long time.
Oh yeah, it was insane. It's crazy because I didn't realize how much noise pollution there is. It's like your neighbor with their car, or I mean, anywhere and everywhere, the sirens, the people talking, it's so noisy. So it was kind of an awakening. It was like, wow, we really need to go somewhere quiet more often. And then we did that again when we went to Savannah, and we stayed for like two or 3 days at the beach, and we sat out on the beach for hours, and we literally hardly talked at all. We just stared out in the ocean.
That was a rough weekend.
It was very,
that was a leading up to that. We were burnt. It was spent.
Therapeutic. Well, that part was therapeutic.
Yeah, that was a rough couple weeks.
So yes, I'm seeking more calm and quiet this year.
But I feel like as we age, that's if we kind of circle back to the, the intended topic of this discussion is just as you get older, you just really need more time to be not just within your thoughts, but just peacefulness.
Mm-hmm.
The world is, there's the myth of as you get older, you kind of think things will get easier. Man, I'm still waiting for that.
It just changes.
No,
I do want to laugh more. I want to be more creative this year. So that is my goal. I want more time to do my art.
Yeah, that would be good.
Make more time. And I'm kind of on a roll right now, but
yeah. You've been, so make sure you check out Kathryn's art site.
Oh yeah, KathrynEclayShop.com, or you can go to KathrynEclay.com. And the shop is on the main website. Got some new products in there, and I'll have more actually in the next few days. So I'm really excited.
And if you want any well merch, we're launching.
Our new website. I'm really excited. So we started our website, and it was kind of a placeholder. Look, there's
a nice mug.
It's shiny, and so I just finished rebuilding it today, actually, and I was able to add our shop. And now you can purchase things and put them in one cart instead of buying one item at a time.
Amen.
So yeah, thanks to people who have already ordered. Super excited. We'll have more merch coming soon. But yeah, it's the well with katandrew.com. That's our website, and our shop's on there. So happy shopping.
Happy shopping and Happy New Year. I hope everyone did have an enjoyable New Year. I know this episode ended on a little bit of a somber note. I truly hope that I don't know if I can survive another 25, so I truly hope that 26 is a different year. I won't say better, just different. I hope it's better. Hope is not a strategy, so hopefully
we're going to do what we can to make it great.
Yes. So I would love to be more patient, more caring, and employed. So yes, there's a lot of desire for 26, but yeah, we have great things to look forward to.
Always, we make it happen.
Always, kind of fizzled out at the end. I don't know. I ran out of steam. It happens.
It's all right. I'll pick up the torch for you. Hope everybody has a great, fabulous 2026, and take time to do the things that you love to do, because that's really important. And I hope that you can find a calm place for yourself.
Amen. Yeah. Way to wrap it up. And
sure,
that's going to do it. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow all the platforms, and appreciate everyone that's been downloading the podcasts. Amazing.
Yes.
The amount of people that have been listening. Wow. I am never in a million years that I think people would be as interested as they have been. And the feedback, again, we say it on every episode. We always want to be grateful and thankful for all the feedback, all the engagement on all the platforms comments that we release. You all are amazing. So thank you all so much for supporting us and in giving us feedback, and hopefully enjoying, our crazy random topics of discussion. You're going to get to know a little bit more about what goes on in this household, which some may find interesting, some may not. But we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. So we're excited. We have some upcoming events that we're attending that will support the podcast. So we're excited for carrying this forward. And thank you all for a good 25. While, we didn't have a ton of episodes, but
wrap it up.
Yes, ma'am. Anyway. Thanks for listening. This is episode 13 of The Well. I'm the grumpy old man, Drew.
And I'm the frisky cat. Meow.
And let us know if you want to hear us talk about anything specific. If not, we'll continue to roll through our own topics, and we'll wrap this one up.
See you next time.
See you next time. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye.